bringing you news and information from around the Pacific Command. This is your AFN Pacific Report.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of your AFN Pacific Report. I'm Senior Airman Therese Garnier. At a press briefing, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel announced the Pentagon will reduce funding for major headquarters by a fifth, seek to trim allowances and limit pay raises, and could cut troop numbers and new weapons programs as it plans for what Hagel called an unprecedented budget uncertainty. Hagel noted if sequester level cuts persist, DoD will experience nearly $1 trillion in defense spending reductions over the next 10 years. Despite looming budget uncertainties, Vice President Joe Biden announced last week aboard USS Freedom that the U.S. is a resident Pacific power, and we will remain so.
As I said when I was in China and India and everywhere I go in the region, I've flown over 700,000 miles since becoming Vice President, visiting other countries, and I state unabashedly and without apology, we are a Pacific power. America is a resident Pacific power, and we will remain so. And the reason why we're able to remain so is because of all of you assembled before me. The truth of the matter is, our resident power status is the reason why this area of the world has been able to grow and be stable.
The U.S. and South Korea recently recognized the 60th anniversary of the signing of the Korean Armistice and celebrated their alliance. Just in time for the occasion, U.S. and ROK officials met at Camp Humphreys for the groundbreaking of the new Korea Command Operations Center.
U.S. and Republic of Korea officials meet at Camp Humphreys for the groundbreaking of the new Korea Command Operations Center. Construction begins immediately and is split into 3 phases.
The first phase includes building the foundation. The second phase is construction of the op center, and the third is construction of a parking lot on the top floor.
The groundbreaking is part of 2 international agreements.
The advantage of both the Yongsan Relocation Program and the Land Partnership Program is to consolidate all U.S. forces within the peninsula to one central location and to better facilitate our forces on the peninsula for both training and operational purposes. It helps to free up real estate within the city of Seoul and north of Seoul in the 2ID area as well, and returns portions of land back to the Republic of Korea. We meet daily with our ROK counterparts. They are essential for us to execute this program. Without them, we would not be successful here in the Republic of Korea.
Specialist Aaron Loy, Camp Humphreys, Korea.
Working fast and saving lives. Whether you're an airman, sailor, soldier, Marine, or civilian, it's the 33rd to the rescue in Okinawa.
These airmen might wear a different uniform, and that's because they're cut from a different cloth. Their job is simple, but not easy. When someone is in need, they take off at a moment's notice, putting themselves at risk. Airmen, Marines, sailors, or civilians, you name it, and the 33rd will come to the rescue.
People need saving. There's always somebody needs rescue, so that's, if anybody's in trouble, we try to help them out.
The 33rd Rescue Squadron is an elite unit on Kadena Air Force Base, comprised of pilots and pararescue jumpers. A group of spectators watched as they demonstrated their reaction time to a crisis. Some of the Japanese spectators, however, have had first-hand experience with the 33rd.
When Friday night, when we heard that the tsunami was going to happen, then we got the call Saturday morning, and we launched all 5 aircraft we had in the squadron, and pretty much everybody we had left, personnel, flew up to the mainland, and then we spent about the next 3 weeks flying around seeing what we could do to help, whether we could search for people, try to rescue anybody, bring supplies to people in need, anywhere we could be of assistance.
Working fast and saving lives is their job. During a natural disaster or crisis, the 33rd has the knowledge and experience to help anyone in need. I'm Marine Corporal Tyler Mitchell, Okinawa, Japan.
Not many of us are treated like kings and queens on a daily basis. Yet one clinic on Yokota Air Base ensures you're treated like royalty, at least when it comes to your mouth.
Kings and queens have crowns, and although you're not royalty, you may need a crown too.
The crowns I'm talking about aren't on your head, but on your teeth. The airmen that make these teeth toppers are hidden away in their laboratory at Yokota's dental clinic.
Well, we're basically here to make we make dentures, crowns, and bridges for dentists and for their patients.
You might need a crown to cover a discolored tooth, protect your tooth from breaking, or restore a broken one. Most military installations have a dental lab on site, unlike many civilian dental practices.
Usually in the civilian world, labs are kind of their own entity. One of the benefits of being in the military is that we have in-house labs usually. It gives us a lot more flexibility with the restoration because we have the lab in-house.
But what exactly is a crown, and how do you go about making one?
Crown is like a cap that goes over top of the tooth. When we identify that a patient needs a crown, we basically cut the tooth down, and then after that, we take a mold. We send that mold up to the lab. The lab pours it into stone. They give it to us to trim, and then from there, the lab basically takes whatever we give them and fabricate the crown.
It can take weeks for a technician to make a perfect crown, but there are some perks to the labor-intensive task.
I get to be more creative, use my hands a lot. It's a lot of hands-on, and you know, if you're creative or you're good with art, it's no problem.
So the next time you find yourself at the dentist in need of a crown, it's quite possible you'll find yourself being treated like royalty. Petty Officer Stephen Jackson, Yokota Air Base, Japan.
Coming up, bring your appetites. We've got stories about an award-winning DFAC and a cook-off in Okinawa. But first, let's take a look around the Pacific Command in today's Snapshots.
A sailor washes the hull of a ship during a community service project as part of a port visit in Australia for Exercise Talisman Sabre. Japan Air Self-Defense Force officers tour the 374th Maintenance Group at Yokota. A sailor signals the pilot of a landing craft air cushion that he is clear to enter a beach in Australia. And that's a look around the Pacific Command in today's Snapshots.
While most of us are still sleeping, food service workers across the Pacific are already well underway with their workdays. And one award-winning DFAC in Korea was more awake than the competition.
It's 5 in the morning, and while most people are still asleep, the KC Main Dining Facility staff of about 30 soldiers and civilians work hard preparing meals for the troops. The long hours and demanding workload isn't easy, but providing quality food service to the soldiers is enough of a payoff.
That's the main thing, feeding the force, that's what we do. Supplying good, hot, nutritious meals. Like I said, some of these guys have been doing this for like 21 years, so they're really into what they do. They got a lot of culinary arts background, and it's just to see the smile on the soldier's face when they come in, knowing that they're getting a good quality meal.
Soldiers enjoy a variety of menu items for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
They can come in here in a nice atmosphere and actually get a good, hot, nutritious meal and service with a smile. Customer service is always our #1 priority.
It's that type of attitude that helps the KC Main Dining Facility earn the Philip A. Connolly Award for Best Civilian-Run Dining Facility in the Army. The distinguished award is given to the top dining facility that strives for excellence in all areas of food service. Specialist Jordine Matthews, Camp Casey, Korea.
You might think military chefs sacrifice a lot of their creativity to provide consistent product for mass consumption. However, the Okinawa Inter-Service Cook-Off allowed chefs to turn up the heat and get creative.
Military cooks often follow rigid guidelines when preparing recipes for the mess hall, preventing personal creativity. However, the Okinawa Inter-Service Cook-Off has given 4 teams of military chefs an environment to make use of their creative skills. Service members from the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and the Air Force went to the event representing their branch of service. The competition's winner will receive a trophy and a year of bragging rights.
I wanted to pass on that, food service isn't just like a give job. Like a lot of times we just service people all the time, and it's a thankless job. But this is more something that's for us, something that we like to do. It's for us.
It was nice to get out of the usual daily routine. It's the same thing cooking in the chow hall. You have to follow the recipe cards, and there's not a whole lot of creativity to it. You don't really get to express your own personality, but here we got to, have a little of our own flavor in it.
The Navy ultimately won the cook-off, walked away with the trophy, and earned bragging rights, but next year may reveal a new winner. Lance Corporal Lillian Stevens, Camp Foster, Japan.
Burning off those chow hall calories, it was the first-class petty officers versus the chiefs in a friendly game of volleyball.
As part of CPO 365, the First Class Petty Officers Association matched up against the Chiefs Mess to compete in volleyball.
CPO 365 is a team-building program that builds together chief petty officers prospective chiefs, first-class petty officers, and officers as well in the wardroom.
The event was also the official unveiling of the CPO 365 Guidon.
The guidon that we put together, and then each rank emblem involved in CPO 365 was mounted to the ruler, starting with the first class chevrons up to the chief's anchor, senior chief anchor, and then the master chief anchor. And then the base for the guidon was established to be 1 star for each of the 13 MCPONs that the Navy has had. Each silver star represents one of the MCPONs from MCPON Black all the way to MCPON Stevens.
Just because the focus was team building, that doesn't mean that both teams weren't trying to win.
I think it was just an even sporting event, and I think both teams were equally competitive, but today the first classes had the better day at volleyball.
We lost because we felt bad for the first class petty officers. We beat them the first 2 games. We want this to be a good competition year-round, so for the first event we decided as a group to let them finally win, make them feel like they earned their pay for today.
While sailors in the First Class Petty Officers Association eagerly await the Chiefs results, the Chiefs prepare to welcome new members into their brotherhood. Petty Officer Cheiros, Fleet Activities, Sasebo, Japan.
That's it for this newscast. From all of us here at AFM Pacific, thanks for watching.